he accompanies all the wives of Krishna, the Dwarka, from Dwarka, he's actually bringing them out, because as soon as Krishna lifts his leg, what happens is Dwarka will be filled with water. It completely will be filled, submerged in water. So he wanted to protect all the queens. So he says, okay, so he wanted to protect his queens, so he asked Arjuna to take the queens out of Dwarka. When Arjuna is trying to take the queens out of Dwarka, some cowherd boys attack Arjuna, and Arjuna loses the battle. And then he loses the wives of Krishna. And then we realized, based on lot of Acharya's comments, it is because Arjuna was puffed up with his skills. Krishna wanted to teach him a lesson, saying that it was the same Arjuna, same Gandiva, same chariot, everything was same, except Krishna missing there. And because of that, he lost to the cowherd boys. Arjuna, who won Kurukshetra battle, lost to the cowherd boys. There is a lesson for all of us. Sometimes some skills are given to us, whether it is preaching, whether it is singing, or whether it is doing some software very well, or keeping the house clean, or cooking very well. All these are little skills which are all coming from Krishna, and it has to be used in the glorification of the Lord, but it should never be used to puff up our ego. Nimitta Matra Sabyasachi. It comes even in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna actually instructs Arjuna that, Nimitta Matra, only for that time period I will give you this. And you use the skill to glorify, to do some activity which I am expecting you to do. After that, you shouldn't think that's because of the skill I am great, right? It is the same thing in the Shakti Avatar. We also discussed that Shakti Avatar is the God enabling certain people with certain skills for certain period of time, so that they can complete the activity assigned to them by the Lord itself. Right. So that also we discussed. After that, I think the Kusa grass, we discussed how Arjuna's mindset was changed. Before the Kusa grass, how Arjuna's mindset was changed. He was feeling so morose, he was feeling so sad. And this is a very important lesson for all of us, right? Many a times circumstances come in our life which will take away our mind from bhakti, which will take away us in a wrong path, because we are feeling sad. We feel the problems of life are so bad that we cannot do anything. And why God is giving us all these things? And at that time, what should come to our rescue? Bhagavad Gita should come to our rescue. I also mentioned that 15th verse, 15th chapter, 27th verse, all of us have to read, because it gives the entire essence of Bhagavad Gita. It tells you why we have to read Bhagavad Gita, because if there is one solution for all our problems, it is Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because it is going to change our consciousness. It is going to change our mindset in such a way. It tells you the right way of living. It doesn't tell you that when you read Bhagavad Gita or associate with the Lord or become Krishna consciousness, problems will go away. It does not say that. It will tell you how to handle those problems. Even in those circumstances, how do I maintain my equilibrium? Yes, the sins, the kuta or the bija, which are about to fructify in the further janmas, will be destroyed. But the suffering I have come with in this janma will continue. I have to go through it. But there is a asara, there is a rope which is given to me. That is Krishna consciousness. Hold on to that rope, right? That is what we discussed. And then he readjusts his mind. His mind was slipping into ignorance. With all those things, he was feeling the misery. He was feeling the three modes of material nature, arrogance, in passion and in ignorance, he was feeling bad. But immediately he goes above Sattva Guna into pure consciousness, where he says, it is all okay because Krishna is with us. As long as Krishna is with us, all these problems, it's not that we are not going to see the Lord again. We are going to see the Lord. Lord is always present. There is not a single moment when Lord is not present. Although physically he's going away, he was always there. That is what he established with thinking about the Bhagavad Gita. And it is a very good life lesson for all of us, that we have to always when times of need is there, when we don't have anybody to help us, actually there is nobody to help us. We think there is everybody to help us. We think there are people around us who can take us out of our suffering. There is nobody actually. It is only Krishna who can take us out of our suffering. Then we spoke about how Yudhishthir Maharaj starts preparing to go back to Godhead, how he gives up everything to two people. One is Krishna's son, and the other one is Maharaj Yudhishthir, right? He gives all entire reign, whatever he was ruling over, he gives it to Maharaj Parikshit, and Mathura itself, he gives it to Krishna's son. I forgot the name of Shambhu, I think. Shambhu, I think. So he gives it to Shambhu so that he can take care of it. Then Kunti Maharani hears about this. Arjuna is not yet completed. The minute she hears it, she prepares to give up the body, right? And Prabhupada writes, one must actually practice this devotion, because you never know when the passport will become ready for you to leave this world. So continuous practice of bhakti is very important, because you don't know. So, see, at least in this world, we know when the passport comes. But actual passport going to Goloka, we don't know when it is going to come to us. When our visa will get stamped to go to Goloka, we don't know. So continuous practice. Why do we need to continuously practice? Instantaneously, like our Jyoti Mataji sang the song, right? She practiced a lot. In the moment, if you ask her without practice, she won't be able to sing. She's been practicing, and that's why in the moment, although chanting took so much time, and then Mangalacharana, all those things, she was ready. Whenever we asked her, she was ready. In the same way, bhakti is also like that. You have to be ready. Any moment it may come knocking at the door, the passport will be delivered. You've not packed your bag, you've not packed, it is not the problem. Yamraj will come and take you. Actually, Vishnu Dutas will come. For devotee, Vishnu Dutas will come. Yamraj will not come. Vishnu Dutas will come and take you. So that is what Prabhupada means. That's saying that you have to always keep yourself ready. And the Yadu dynasty, everybody is planning to leave. All the brothers of Yudhishthir Maharaj follow Yudhishthir Maharaj. They are all ready to follow. We also discussed how we all have to follow the acharyas, right? Acharyas, we have to follow their footsteps, however they went. In the same way, Yudhishthir Maharaj also follows the footsteps of the acharya, and he goes off, leaves everything, and he goes to the forest to give up his body. And then we spoke about the 11th canto, the pastime of how Yadu dynasty is completed, right? They actually become intoxicated. All these Yadu dynasty, whoever was born, was demigods. So those demigods, they start fighting against each other, right? They fight against each other. Why? It is a plan of the Lord. Somehow the pastime has to wrap up. It was not that they drank intoxication. That is somarasa. They are used to drinking that in the heaven, right? And it is not intoxication. It is a kind of drink that they have, the somarasa. They drink that, so they were accustomed to that. And it is not, because Shaunaka Rishi and everybody who hear about it, who are hearing to Bhagavatam, took it in a bad sense when they heard that there was intoxication. This is not intoxication, there is a clarification given. So that is how pastime of how Krishna leaves the world and how Yadu dynasty leaves the world. We discussed that. And evidence of disappearance of Krishna, how we have to understand, right? It is like a magician performing a magic for the non-devotees. For devotees, Krishna is never absent. Physically, he's not there, but his Shakti is always there. And he never is born. He manifests. All the incarnations of the Lord are always existing. It is like the sun rising in the morning and setting in the night. Krishna came, he showed his face, and then he left. He was not born or he did not die. That a devotee has to understand. And one who understands this will not take birth again. Even if they take birth, they will take birth for continuation of bhakti, but not for the suffering. Not for your suffering, you will take birth. One who understands this. Actually, one who understands this, Krishna says in 4.7 or 4.9 that they will never take birth again. Once you give up this body, if you understand the birth and the activities of the Lord, you will not take birth again, right? Next, Yeah, how the asuras envision the Lord. That also we saw a little bit of that. See, when Krishna is, people don't understand the manifestation. People don't understand how Krishna comes to this world. Even though he's in front of us, we will not be able to understand sometimes. Like Kamsa and Shishupal, they were there in front of Krishna, but they could never accept Krishna. In the same way, they cannot understand the pastime of Krishna leaving also, they will not be understand. If they cannot understand the presence of Krishna, the disappearance also, they will not be able to understand. And that's why they think he got killed. Krishna got killed. That is not true. Krishna does not have a body to get killed. And then the advent of Kali Yuga, how the Kali Yuga has started, right? As soon as the personality of Godhead, let me just quickly read this. When the personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, left this earthly planet in his self-same form, from the very day Kali Yuga started. See, it is like this. As soon as Krishna left, Kali Yuga started rising, right? But what did Krishna do for that? Krishna left Bhagavatam for all of us so that we can relish, we can replay that. It is like a CD player, we can keep replaying that, right? Here, how Maharaj Yudhishthir, we already discussed how the Hastinapur was all the kingdom, entire kingdom was given to Parikshit Maharaj, and Mathura was given to grandson of Lord Krishna, Anirudh, sorry, I thought it was Samba. Anirudh took over the Mathura kingdom. Right. And then all this we had finished, how he follows, he gives up everything. I also asked you a question, who did that? Give up everything and, as if they were out of their sense, right? It was Jada Bharat. Jada Bharat also used to behave as if he does not. And how he concentrated his five elements, earthly elements, he gives it to the material existence, and only his Atma is actually with the Lord. See, we are made up of all this Mahatattva. The entrance to us is the Jiva Tattva enters the 8 elements and then comes into this world. In the same way, reverse order, Yudhishthir Maharaj leaves his body. He gives up the 5 elements. He gives up the Buddhi, Ahankar, mind, ego, and intelligence. He gives up that, and only the pure consciousness is chanting about the Lord. He is thinking about the Lord, and then he gets completely absorbed. He forgets his body. He forgets who he is, right? That is the level of dedication. That is devotion. That is true devotion, where you forget everything and think about the Lord. That is the absorption, right? And that is what the opposite direction is, what Yudhishthir Maharaj. I think we discussed all this also. Where we left off is, yeah, Vidurji. This is where we left off. Let's quickly go through the last 3 slides and jump to the next chapter. Pandavas and Vidurji returned to the spiritual world. Thus, by pure consciousness, due to constant devotional remembrance, they attained the spiritual sky, which is ruled over by the Supreme Narayana, Lord Krishna. This is attained only by those who meditate upon one Supreme Lord without deviation. This abode of the Lord Sri Krishna, known as Goloka Vrindavan, cannot be attained by persons who are absorbed in the material conception of life. But the Pandavas, being completely washed of all material contamination, attained that abode in their very same body. So it is just summarizing how the Pandavas were able to so quickly get into the abode of the Lord, because they were free from the contamination of this material world. They did not have anything. See, whatever yuddha they did, whatever they did, right? They did only for Krishna. Every act of every Pandava was only for Krishna's glorification, only to please Krishna. Krishna expected this out of them, and that's why they did. It is very difficult. It's very difficult for us to understand. Sometimes we question, how do I understand what Krishna needs from me? We are not in that level. What are we? So we have to submit ourselves to the spiritual master. For us, Krishna is spiritual master right now, because we cannot have direct contact with Krishna. We don't know what Krishna wants from us. So the spiritual master, we have to adhere to the spiritual master, whatever the spiritual master wants us to do. It is very difficult, dear devotees. It's not easy. Surrendering unto a spiritual master is also not easy. One day, Suranath Prabhu was actually giving an example. He said, sometimes when you change a home also, you have to ask the spiritual master where you have to live. To that level, you have to submit, right? Every decision in the family taken should be approved by the spiritual master. That is total. And when they give you something which you don't like, right? You want to live in Delhi, but they will say live in Hyderabad. You won't like it, but you have to say, okay. See, devotion is not doing what you love doing, right? Devotion is not what you love doing. Devotion is doing what your heart says no, and you still do it perfectly. I'll give you an example. I don't want to eat on Thursdays and Tuesdays because I want to diet. But actually, I'm supposed to do Ekadashi. I don't want to do Ekadashi. I only want to do Tuesday and Thursday, every Tuesday and Thursday. So I'm trying to do something. I'm trying to please the Lord according to my wish. That is not pleasing the Lord. Pleasing the Lord is doing what He wants to do. When somebody has a birthday, another example, somebody has a birthday, you like a flower pot. You go give it to them. They don't like flower pot, nah? They like something else. They like an iPhone. But you are saying, no, I got you an organic flower pot. Take care of it. That is not love. Love is doing what the other person wants you to do. That is pleasing the other person. For women, right? You all like puris. You make puris, but your husband likes bisibalabath, right? You will say, no, puri is good. You eat. They will not like it. In the same way, men also, you like a different color of sari. So that I think you get the idea. Pleasing the Lord is depending on what the Lord wants. Pleasing the spiritual master is what they want you to do, not saying that I am going to do this. I want to take the seva. No. Spiritual master says, take the seva, and we happily have to take that seva. And that is what is explained here. Then next, Vidurji. Vidura, while on pilgrimage, left his body at Prabhas because he was absorbed in thought of Krishna. He was received by the denizens of the Pitraloka, where he returned to his original position. Now a question. What is Vidurji's original position? If you've really heard the Bhagavatam class, you will know. Who is Vidurji? What is his? Why is he going to Pitraloka? Why is Vidurji going to Pitraloka and not Goloka? He should go to Goloka. He is a great devotee of the Lord. Vidurji. Why is he going to Pitraloka? And what is his original position? Anybody?
Hare Krishna, Mathaji.
1 second, Jyoti Mathaji. I know you know the answer. Hold on. I want to check how many of them are awake with the video off. Anybody else? I know Jyoti Mataji can answer that question. Anybody else? Nobody remembers who Vidurji
Hare
is?
Krishna. Hare Krishna,
Tilakumar,
Mataji.
oh, I know you also know. Hold on, Prabhu. Hold on. Let's see. All of you type in the chat. Go ahead and type in the chat. I think it's much easier. That way all of you will get a chance. Who is Vidurji? Why is he going to Pitraloka and not Goloka? Question is, who is Vidurji? Type it in the chat. Okay, Jyoti Mataji and then Tilakumar Prabhu. Go ahead and give them. Nobody is typing also. Everybody is sleeping mode, I think.
Manjunath Prabhuji type Mataji.
Yes, very nice, Manjunath Prabhu. Very nice. Vidurji is none other than Yamarajji, right? Because of the pastime, he came as Vidurji, and that's why he went to Pitriloka. He went to Yamaraj, Yamadharmaraya, right? He is Yamaraj, and his original position is being Yamaraj. His episode is going to come in the next chapter also. It's very, very beautiful. How Bhagavatam connects, every thread is connected. You will appreciate it. If you pay attention, it's very difficult. It's very easy to lose, because the story goes in different lines, but you have to remember the starting point where we came. We already discussed that, Yamraji had one wish that, he's always constantly serving the Lord by punishing people and bringing them back into to the right direction. But his one wish was he wanted to do devotion to the Lord. And because of that, he gets a curse from Manduka Muni. And he ends up being Shudrani's son, right? And that's how Vidurji comes. And there is a lot of curse in that. The curse is that you will be born in a Shudrani family. You will never get a kingdom. Although you are like a king, you will never get the kingdom. And that's why he was always a mantri. He was never a king. He never got a kingdom to rule. But he was very happy because his intention was, you put me in Shudra family, whatever family, I don't care. I'm glorifying the Lord. I'm showing devotion to the Lord, right? He never had time to show devotion. He got a chance to show devotion. Thank you, Jyoti Mathaji, Tilak Kumar Prabhu, and Manjunath Prabhu. Unexpected thunderbolt. Very nice. I didn't expect, to have you give the answer. Very nice, Prabhu. Thank you. Then this is very nice again. Draupadi and Subhadra return home. Draupadi also saw that her husbands, without caring for her, were leaving home. She knew well about Lord Vasudeva Krishna, the personality of Godhead. Both she and Subhadra became absorbed in the thoughts of Krishna and attained the same results as their husband. Draupadi had 5 husbands and no one asked Draupadi to come. Draupadi had to take care of herself without waiting for her great husbands. And because she was already trained, she at once took to concentration upon the lotus feet of Lord Vasudeva Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The wives also got the same result as their husbands in the same manner. That is to say, without changing their bodies, they reached the destination of Godhead. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur suggests that both Draupadi and Subhadra, although her name is not mentioned here, got the same result. None of them had to quit their body. So they all went in the same body. See, one life lesson here, whether it is husbands or wives, you cannot wait for anybody in your family to tell you to do japa. You cannot wait for another person to show you the right way. Each individual, Prabhupada, I think in this episode only he gives, I don't know if I've given that example. Okay, I've not given that example. In this series where he's talking about Draupadi and Subhadra, he gives a very beautiful example. He says, there is plane to take all of us to different destination. Say, suppose you're going to a destination, your family is separated from you. Your husband is in one plane, you are in one plane, your children are in one plane. The way each plane takes off and the troubles of each plane is up to that person only. Your husband's plane will take off successfully. Your children's plane will take off successfully, but not your plane. So you should always be worried about your plane. What is that? That is devotion. Prabhupada is talking about bhakti. Bhakti is individualized. It is not, you can support one another, but how much of japa your wife did will not affect you. How much of japa husband did will not affect. Each one have to take care. Here, they were the best of the husbands. All 5 husbands were the best of the husbands. But when time came to leave the earth, what did they do? They didn't even talk to the wife. Although 5 husbands she had, none of them looked at her also. They all said, okay, tata, bye-bye, and they left, right? So that is important for us to learn whether you make time for yourself. With the household work, women have to make time. With the outside work, men have to make time for taking care of bhakti. Nobody will support you. That is important. This is another important thing that we all have to understand. Perfection of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. The subject of the departure of the sons of Pandu for the ultimate goal of life back to Godhead is fully auspicious and is perfectly pure. Therefore, anyone who hears this narration with a devotional faith certainly gains the devotional service to the Lord, the highest perfection of life. Srimad Bhagavatam is a narration about the personality of Godhead and the devotees of the Lord, like the Pandavas. The narration of the personality of Godhead and his devotees is absolute in itself, and thus to hear it with a devotional attitude is to associate with the Lord and constant companions of the Lord. By the process of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, one can attain the highest perfection of life, namely going back to Godhead, going back home, back to Godhead without failure. See, sometimes we all have this that, we don't have association or we don't have a temple nearby. What do I do? Here, Prabhupada beautifully writes that association with the Bhagavatam is as if you're associating with the Lord directly. Whether you're reading Bhagavatam, hearing Bhagavatam, or you're, listening to some podcast or anything, any touch of Bhagavatam in your life is as if you're holding on to Krishna's lotus feet. So Bhagavatam has that potency. How the Hare Krishna Mahamantra has the potency, Srimad Bhagavatam also has that potency. Even if you read one word, one sentence, even if it is just one shloka, one purport in a day, it has the same effect. And without fail, it will deliver you. There is no other Shakti in this world, no other solution in this world except associating with the Lord, either through the scriptures or Harina, that gets you the delivery to Goloka. That is the essence. But we should not do it like that. We should always think that it is a service to the Lord. Right? It is a service. To read Bhagavatam is almost like a service to the Lord. We should always think in that manner. We should never expect Palashruti. Palashruti is not to be expected. I know it is very difficult in the beginning because we are all in this material world. We all have desires, but we should never concentrate on the Palashruti. We should just do it for the pleasure of the Lord, glorification of the Lord. That ends the chapter 15 of Bhagavatam, Canto-1, Chapter 15. We will quickly start 16 today, but I don't know how much we'll be able to complete 16. Let me open the PPT. So this is also very beautiful. Chapter 16 talks about how Parikshit Maharaj is going to meet Kali. Right? The Kali who comes in, how he meets. So Pandavas have left, Draupadi has left, Kunti Maharani has left. Now Maharaj Parikshit is ruling the world. I don't know the timeline, how long he rules the world before Kali enters. And this particular chapter is divided into so many sections. The first section is life of Maharaj Parikshit, how he ruled the world. After his grandfathers and everybody left the world, how he ruled the world. How he encountered the Kali, age of Kali, and when he encountered age of Kali, what he did, and the questions regarding his actions as to what he did by the Shaunakadi Rishi. And the background for Kali to come there, what happened before that? Between Pandavas leaving and Kali entering, in between that section, what happened? That is the background. And then when the Shaunakadi Rishis ask the question, they ask one thing. They say, if it is related to the questions that they are asking, if it is related to the glories of the Lord, it is somehow related to Lord Shri Krishna, then only tell us the details. Otherwise, don't tell us the details. And then the conversation between Dharma and Mother Earth. Dharma is a bull and Mother Earth is a cow. It signifies a cow and a bull. There is a conversation between them. What is that conversation? So we'll quickly get started. I don't think so we can complete everything, but we'll try to get started. So the qualities of Maharaj Parikshit and his reign. Maharaj Parikshit was a Mahabhagavata. What is a Mahabhagavata? A first class devotee who was not only well versed in the science of devotion, but also able to convert others to become devotees by his transcendental instructions. See, great people who have devotion in their heart and they practice devotion, they, no matter what circumstance comes in their life, they will be able to practice devotion and they will be able to make others also practice devotion. Can you think of any other person who's done that? In Bhagavatam only, there is another person, 5-year-old Mahabhagavat. Who's that?
Parikshit Maharaj.
5-year-old. 5-year-old.
Dhruva
Prahlad.
Mataji.
Prahlad
Prahlad Maharaj, Mathaji.
Correct. Prahlad Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj, he did not coach his friends, Tilak Mahaprabhu, but Prahlad Maharaj, in spite of his bad situation, he was coaching all the other friends also. He was making other people also devotees. So Prahlad Maharaj was such. And Prahlad Maharaj is a Mahabhagavat. It says in the scriptures that he is a Mahabhagavat, right? Next, he used to consult who? Maharaj Parikshit. He used to consult great sages and learned brahmanas who could advise him by the Shastras how to execute the state administration. The rules and regulations were already set forth by great sages like Manu, Yagnavalkya, Parasara, and other liberated sages, and the enactments were also all suitable for all ages and all places. What this means is, there are scriptures which our acharyas have given, the great sages have given, how to do administration. And we'll think, array, this is only given to olden days. For those people, it will be good. Not for us. This is Kali Yuga, we think. No. It says it is suitable for all ages in all places. It is written in such a way that, like Bhagavatam, like Bhagavad Gita, it applies to everybody. In the same way, this rules and regulation applies to any country, any place. Any country, any place, anywhere, right? That is what it means. Kings like Maharaj Parikshit had their council of advisors, and all the members of the council were either great sages or brahmanas of the first order. They did not accept any salary, nor had they any necessity for such salaries. The state would get the best advice without expenditure. They were themselves Samadarshina. Samadarshina comes even in Bhagavad Gita. What is Samadarshina? One who sees everybody equal. Even the animals, they see it as equal. They don't differentiate. They don't differentiate between human and elephant, dog. They don't differentiate. They know how to treat each one of them, but they treat everybody the same. They don't have liking and disliking. The dualities of life, they don't have it. Those are Samadarshina. They see them as they are. What is as they are? Then they see Paramatma in everybody, and they see the Jiva Tattva in everybody. They don't see the outer covering of other people. Under all these obligations, the advisory council of the king would give correct direction, and the king or the executive head, being himself a qualified devotee of the Lord, would scrutinizingly follow them for the welfare of the state. The state in the days of Maharaj Yudhishthir or Maharaj Parikshit was a welfare state in the real sense of the terms, because no one was unhappy in that state. So this is the background of Maharaj Parikshit, that how he ruled after he got the anointed as a king, after Maharaj Yudhishthir gave him that patta, how he ruled. He's a Mahabhagavat. He was protected by the Lord. The Lord loves him and he loves the Lord. There is not a single second that he forgot the Lord. And he gave lot of importance to Shastra and the Acharyas and the Brahmanas. Whatever they said, he used to take their advice. Right? He didn't use his own mind. He depended on the scriptures. That's what it means. And then little bit of background about him. Maharaj Uttara was a son of Birata, Airavati being the daughter of Maharaj Uttara. So here Maharaj Parikshit actually got married to Airavati. Airavati is the daughter of Maharaj Uttara. And they begot 4 sons. And one of the sons, first son, is Janmejaya. Then there is a beautiful history of what Janmejaya did also. Janmejaya, what happens is, he does a lot of yagnas. He is very good in warfare also. He actually invaded Takshashila and he's got that in control, right? But he remembers how his father died because of the curse that Brahmana boy gives. Shamik Rishi's son Shringi gives a curse on Maharaj Parikshit. In 7 days, by the bird Taksha, by the snake Taksha, you will die. And he died because of that Sarpa, right? So now Janmejaya, who is a son of Parikshit, wants to take revenge against this Sarpa. So he actually performs a Sarpa Yagna. What that Yagna does is, as you're performing the Yagna, snakes from everywhere will come and fall. They don't have control. They will fall in the Yagna and they will die. By that, what happens is the entire snake race is eradicated. He is about to eradicate the snake race. By then, what happens is, all the demigods and everybody call on to Mahamuni Vyasadeva. and tells him, please console this boy. The entire snake race will be eradicated. We don't want that to happen. Please, can you console him? Then Mahamuni Vyasadeva comes personally when the yagna is being taking place, and he sits there and he actually tells the boy about the greatness about his father Parikshit Maharaj, and what happens is he narrates the entire Mahabharata. What is that? Mahabharata plays again, right? It starts again all over. Just give me 1 minute, devotees. I will just switch on the light here. Sorry,
Atul
dear
Prabhuji,
devotees.
it is live on YouTube. No need to record, Prabhuji.
Okay, Prabhu.
Okay. So, sorry, dear devotees, I had to find the switch. So here, Janmejaya, why I'm giving importance to this Mahamuni, or Prabhupada also has given importance, is you have to understand it as Kala Chakra. Mahabharata happened, and then Pandavas took over, then Maharaj Parikshit took over. Maharaj Parikshit's time also ended after Bhagavatam. He gave Bhagavatam and his life also ended. Now the Kala Chakra has to start all over again. And how is it going to start all over again? By again Vyasadeva narrating Mahabharata to Janmejaya. Mahabharata is replayed in Kala Chakra. Right? It is a circle of life, right? Again, Mahabharata will take place. Again, this one. So that is why he narrates Mahabharata to Janmejaya. Again, Mahabharata comes back into this world and it is replayed, right? And then after hearing all those things, he will cannot continue to perform that yajna. He will stop that yajna because he narrates how great your father and your grandmother and great-grandmother, everybody were. Kunti Maharani, he talks about Kunti. He talks about Pandavas, he talks about Yudhishthira, and then he talks about Maharaj Parikshit also, how he was, secured in the womb itself by the Lord. And it is the Lord's wish that his father had to go back. He gave Bhagavatam. His essence was to give Bhagavatam to the world and leave this world. And that's what Vyasadeva tells everything to Janmejaya to console him, right? And then, although sacrifice was incomplete, he gives a lot of charity, and there ends that episode. Then next, it is continuation how Maharaj Parikshit used to do. Maharaj Parikshit, after having selected Kripacharya, Kripacharya is actually from the Kaurava section. See, when the war happens, they will take sides, but after that, personally, they don't have any vengeance against each other. Although Kripacharya was Kaurava, he was chosen by Yudhishthir Maharaj to take care of Maharaj Parikshit. We read this in the previous chapter. So in continuation, Maharaj Parikshit took the advice, or after having selected Kripacharya for guidance as his spiritual master, performed 3 horse sacrifices on the banks of the Ganges. These were executed with sufficient rewards for the attendants, and at these sacrifices, even the common man could see demigod. The significance why I put this verse here is this part. Although celestial beings are not visible to the naked eyes of the inhabitants of this earth, it was due to the influence of Maharaj Parikshit that the demigods also agreed to be visible. See, if the king is in that power of being a Mahabhagavat, like our spiritual master Srila Prabhupada, today if we are able to chant, today if we are able to take the Lord's name, today if we are able to read Bhagavatam, today if we are able to read Bhagavad Gita, it is only by influence of Srila Prabhupada on us, or on the Lord, and the mercy of the Lord is coming to us through Srila Prabhupada. How the mercy of the demigods made themselves visible even to the common man during the yajna because of Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj influenced them. He said, no, you have to personally come and everybody should see you. In the same way, Srila Prabhupada showed that mercy. He requested Krishna so that we all can say the name Krishna today. Right? That is a lesson for us. And so even for a king like Maharaj Parikshit, there was another life lesson that Prabhupada puts in the purport is, even for a king like Maharaj Parikshit, there was a need for a spiritual master. See, he was a Mahabhagavat. He could have said, hey, I'm first-class devotee. Why do I need a spiritual master? But no, he took the advice of Kripacharya. He accepted him as a spiritual master. Without such guidance, one cannot make progress in spiritual life. Although he's a Mahabhagavat, he is very humble, he is very submissive. That is a quality of a devotee, that to accept a spiritual master, it shows your humbleness. It does not show your ego, it should actually show your humbleness. This is also very beautiful. As long as Yamaraj, who causes everyone's death, is present here, no one shall meet with death. The great sages have invited the controller of death, Yamaraj, who is the representative of the Lord. Living beings who are under his grip should take advantage by hearing the deathless nectar in the form of this narration of transcendental pastimes of the Lord. This is very, very beautiful. I remember Jyoti Mathaji once asking me, Mathaji, will people not, there is a saying that if you start Bhagavatam, reading Bhagavatam, then you will not die till you finish Bhagavatam. Is that true? Here is the answer for that, Mathaji. I mean, you will die. I've written in the lessons for us, but we'll quickly, what this means, I will explain, and then Jyoti Mathaji will also get her answer. So here what is being said is, see, when they did that yajna for 1,000 years, 10,000 years or 1,000 years in the beginning, Shaunakadi rishis are performing this yajna. Why? Kali Yuga is about to start. For the welfare of the world, they are doing these so many 1,000 years, they do yajnas. But they get nothing out of that. There is nothing which came out of that. Then they get puzzled. What do? We are trying to do such big yajnas. It is not helping us. At that time, Sutta Goswami walks in. And when Sutta Goswami walks in, the entire Bhagavatam starts. During the performance of that yajna, I remember we read that Yamaraj is coming and sitting with them. They invite Yamaraj also to come and sit with them when they're doing the yajna. So here, Shaunakadi Rishi is telling us this. What is he saying? You know what, dear devotees? You're all in the clutches of Yamaraj. All of you will die one day. But we've caught Yamaraj, captured Yamaraj to be part of the Srimad Bhagavatam and Yagnas. Okay? Srimad Bhagavatam and Yagna is going on. Yagna was going on and now Bhagavatam started, right? But they had invited Yamaraj for the Yagna. He stayed back even for the Bhagavatam class by Sutta Goswami. So here is your chance, devotees. You can escape death. Because we've captured Yamaraj ji, he cannot give you death during this time. He is also enjoying the nectar of the Lord. You also enjoy the nectar of the Lord. That is the essence. When somebody says that you started Bhagavatam, that means you are not going to die till you complete, because Yamaraj ji is so focused in Bhagavatam along with you, sitting with you. See, whenever we read Bhagavatam, it is actually played, it is actually real, it is actually happening, it's happening somewhere else, right? So, Yamaraji is engaged with you in Bhagavatam, so you will escape death during that time. That's why people who start Bhagavatam will not die in between that. That is a saying. That saying came from here. That is what I want to say. And also, see, what happens then, that means don't be scared. I won't finish Bhagavatam at all, Mathaji. I will keep reading chapter 1 only throughout my life. Canto-1, chapter 1 throughout my life. So that I don't complete. No. So that is why I wrote that line. As long as we are engaged in Srimad Bhagavatam, there is no death. Why? Devotees never die. Devotees can never die. There is no death for devotees, right? So that is the understanding. It's a very beautiful thing. I remember Jyoti Mataji once asking me that, and I actually was reminded of her when I was writing this purport, reading this purport and writing it. Let's quickly read through the purport completely. Every human being dislikes meeting death, but he does not know how to get rid of this death. The surest remedy for avoiding death is to accustom oneself to hearing the nectarian pastimes of the Lord as they are systematically narrated in the text of Srimad Bhagavatam. It is advised herein, therefore, that any human being who desires freedom from death should take to this course of life as recommended by the rishis headed by Shaunaka. So it is very important we understand the importance of Srimad Bhagavatam, why it is so important, right? It is the greatest of the, it is not just a mythology or as just an ordinary scripture. It is real, it is living. You associate yourself with it, whether you like it or not, all auspiciousness will start coming in your life. Without you knowing, it will start coming. All bad things will start going away from your life. And then devotion will automatically start in the heart of the devotees. Devotion will, it will start bearing that, it will go deeper. The plant of devotion will go deeper once you start engaging with Bhagavatam. Encounter of Maharaj Parikshit with age of Kali. Once when Maharaj Parikshit was on his way to conquer the world, he saw the master of Kali Yuga, who was lower than a Shudra, disguised as a king and hurting the legs of the cow and the bull. The king at once caught hold of him to deal sufficient punishment. The age of Kali means mismanagement and quarrel. This is very important for all of us to understand so that we can understand the problems of today's life. The age of Kali means mismanagement and quarrel, and the root cause of all mismanagement and quarrel is the worthless men with modes of lower class men who have no higher ambition of life come to the helm of the state management. Such men at the post of a king are sure to first hurt the cow and Brahminical culture, thereby pushing all society towards hell. Maharaj Parikshit, trained as he was, got the scent of the root cause of the quarrel in this world. Thus, he wanted to stop it in the very beginning. So what Prabhupada is saying is, see, it is the effect of Kali Yuga that it puts a low-class Shudra into management. And the first thing those people do is they attack two things. What do they attack? They attack the cows and the Brahmins. Once those two are wiped out from the face of the earth, there is nothing good auspicious which can happen. And Maharaj Parikshit, because he is in management, because he is ruling the entire world, but because he is a Mahabhagavat, he got the scent of this quarrel. What is this problem? It is because the cow or the Brahmins are being hurt. He immediately knew. And then Prabhupada writes that, how do we counteract this Kali Yuga? By two things, protecting of the cow and engaging in the scriptures. Today, there is no true Brahmins left. Yes, our spiritual masters are Brahmins, but the true Brahmins are all wiped out from the face of the earth. I actually heard recently, Gautama Rishi actually cursed the Brahmins. In Dwapara Yuga, I don't know the episode, what happens, but Gautama Rishi actually cursed all the Brahmins to forget all the Vedas. And that's why in Kali Yuga, the Vedas cannot be chanted properly by the Brahmins because of that curse. Gautama Rishi cursed the Brahmins. So Brahmins are wiped out. Somehow cow protection we can do. Then how do we get the Brahminical knowledge? One, through your spiritual master. Two, engaging in the scriptures. Engaging in the scriptures means not any other scripture. Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Let's start with Bhagavad Gita. I told you, reading 5 minutes of Bhagavad Gita, reading 5 minutes of Bhagavatam will also give you very good effect. Questions from Shaunaka Rishi. Now, Kali Yuga has started. Kali has come in the king's black king, like he's come, right? And as soon as Parikshit Maharaj knows about him, he punishes him. Now the question from Shaunaka Rishi, he says, why did he punish him? He should have killed him then and there because he was hurting a cow. Why did he leave him? That is the question. Shaunaka Rishi inquired, why did Maharaj Parikshit simply punish him since he was the lowest of the Shudras, having dressed as a king and having struck a cow on the leg? Please describe these incidents if they are related to the topics of Krishna. Although hearing about a Shudraka, who was a cheat and insulter of cow, was not very interesting to the rishis, great rishis. They nevertheless wanted to hear about it to see if the event had any connection with Lord Krishna. They were simply interested in the topics of the Lord Krishna. For anything that is dovetailed with the narration of Krishna is worth hearing. So this is very, very beautiful, isn't it? Sometimes Prabhupada writes pages together about it, and I have picked up 1 or 2 lines as a lessons for us. What is that? However interesting the mundane topics of this world are, we should refrain and see how we can engage in Krishna Katha, which will purify us. Okay. One way is to not keep our head there at all. The other way is, how do we use those mundane topics and dovetail it to Krishna consciousness, right? Put Krishna everywhere and it will get purified. That's what Prabhupada writes. So he says, if you can't do that, if you can't refrain yourself in this mundane world, everything is impure due to its being a product of the 3 mundane qualities. What is that? Rajas, Tamas, and Sattva Guna. In these 3 modes it is in. So it is not pure. The purifying agent, however, is Krishna. So if you add Krishna, automatically even those mundane topics become good or auspicious, is what he is saying. It is already 8:45 for me. I don't know the time for you all. What is the time? I don't
It
know.
is 7:13, Mathaji. Yeah.
Okay. And should we continue? I have lots of topics to cover in this also. I'll finish off the questions and then one section will be completed. From background, we'll take it from the next class. Okay. Is that okay, dear devotees? I'll just complete this one slide and then we should be good. Okay. Questions from Shaunaka Rishi. O Sutta Goswami, there are those amongst men who desire freedom from death and get eternal life. They escape the slaughtering process or by calling the controller of death Yamaraj. So Prabhupada writes in the purport what that means. Modern scientists who are researching about death cannot escape death. Then how do we escape death? This is the question from Shaunaka Rishi to Sutta Goswami. First question was, why didn't he kill that Kali? Second question is, how do we escape death? That is what they're asking. The only hope of suspending the cruel slaughtering process of Yamaraj is to call him to hear and chant the holy names of the Lord. Yamaraj is a great devotee of the Lord and he likes to be invited to kirtans and sacrifices by the pure devotees who are constantly engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. Thus, the great sages headed by Shaunaka and others invited Yamaraj to attend the sacrifice performed at Naimisharanya. This was good for those who did not want to die. This we've already discussed in that previous section where I said the Shaunaka Rishi is invited Yamaraj into the kirtan and bhajan and sacrifice. So he is completely engaged in devotional service. When he is engaged in devotional service, if we also engage in Srimad Bhagavatam, then we will be able to surpass death. This is a quick formula for us to surpass death, not going into the laboratory and doing some scientific experiments, because people who do such experiments also cannot get over death. People who say that, we are researching about death, they themselves die one day, isn't it? They themselves die. But then what is the formula for getting over death? To engage in Bhagavatam, because Yamaraj himself is engaged in Bhagavatam. So you engage, as soon as he sees you engaging in Bhagavatam, he will not come and knock at your door. Instead, Vishnu Dutas will come and knock at your door. With that, we can end today's session. We can start from the background in the next class. I actually had an activity also, but when we come to that, we can do that activity. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to talk about Bhagavatam today. Thank you so much.